Hello everyone and welcome to a new video on my channel. I'm Adam and this is a video only for the archive channel along with the next three. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be ranking all the episodes of season 2 of What's New Scooby-Doo. A few months ago me and Lucas done series 1 of What's New Scooby-Doo and we've only just finished series 2 last night, which is the 10th of May. So, no, the 11th of May. So, on the 12th of May, which is today, I am recording the ranking of the episodes, the monsters, the culprits, and of course, those sweet, sweet chase scenes. I think we know which one I'm most excited for. But before I get to that one, I need to go through the episodes. So, with the episodes, I ranked them on how much I personally enjoyed watching them, as well as the characters that are in it and the whole mystery as a whole. I kept away from the culprit, the chase scene, and the monsters as they are in their own little segment, and I just ranked everything else to put together this list. So let's get things started with 14th place. This is my opinion, so please remember your opinion may be different, and that is The Vampire Strikes Back. Now, I know what you're going to say. Adam, this is the return of the Hex Girls. We haven't seen them since Legend of the Vampire and Witch's Ghost, and you're putting this episode last? Quite frankly, yes. I honestly don't care for this episode. There's only one good thing from this episode, and it's not even an amazingly good thing. But that one good thing is the Hex Girls reenaction of the What's New Scooby-Doo intro, which I actually kind of like. But other than that, that's nothing. There's nothing else. It brings back JJ Hakimoto, which honestly I do not care much about, and having it set in a castle kind of throws me off a bit, as I've just never really been a big fan of mysteries in a castle. It seems a bit too generic to me, and that's why I'm just not a big fan of The Vampire Strikes Back. I admit it felt nice to see the Hex Girls again, but compared to the Witch's Ghost and Legend of the Vampire, those are the return appearances I've seen of them. We know which one's the best, so I don't even need to say that. But I prefer their appearance in Legend of the Vampire over Vampire Strikes Back any day. I'm pretty sure anyone would. The Vampire Strikes Back isn't a great movie, but the Hex Girls are more prominent in this one. So yeah, Vampire Strikes Back, 14th place, because nothing there makes me happy. 13th place is It's All Greek to Scooby. It's All Greek to Scooby. Basically, this one's last place because it's so boring. I found this episode so incredibly boring. Lysander is the only interesting one-off character we see, and the whole mystery as a whole just isn't really that interesting to me, as I kind of got thrown off it from the actual monster. But to add on with this whole cliche of Shaggy thinking that he's protected from the monster because he has an amulet. It's just those superstitious things which some people do believe and others don't. This one feels a bit too forced. And that's why it's just not my fave. It's just very low on the list because there's nothing much happens there. 12th place, we have The Fast and the Wormiest. Now, this one is probably a bit of a disagreement for lots of people watching this, because this one's a rather popular episode. But to me, I actually do not like it. There's no character in there that I actually kind of like. The cowboy guy, I can't remember his name. The guy in the monster truck was okay, but that's it. That's pretty much it. There's no other characters in there that I actually like. I hate the worm guardian stuff, and it's just taking place in the middle of a race, and there's another episode in the future which is a bit more superior when it comes to taking place during a race, and with a better monster as well. It's just boring, really. 11th place is Big Appetite in Little Tokyo. This one I originally adored, but now after really watching it back, it's just boring. Nothing much happens there. The only good thing in there is the robot dog, and I do kind of like Elliot, but that's it. There's nothing much else to add there. The mystery was interesting, but didn't really catch my attention. It felt kind of obvious what it was, considering there was only one person smart enough to actually be able to do that kind of thing. And there's one incredibly major plot hole in it, where how could the culprit be able to build a monster based around Shaggy when he planned to curse someone else and he didn't build a monster around him? That, even if he found out that Shaggy was the one that was cursed now, like, that would have taken more than a couple of hours just to fix up the monster to make it look like Shaggy. It's just stupid in my opinion, and that throws me off the episode entirely. So yeah, not even at the top 10. 10th place we have Recipe for Disaster. Now, unfortunately, I had to put this one here because I remember absolutely adoring this episode, but it's just boring now. It feels like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but the only difference is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is actually good. Recipe for Disaster just isn't that interesting to me. I like the whole factory idea behind it, but the motive for the culprit is just kind of stupid. And, well, reasonable but stupid. Nothing much else to say there. I do like a couple of the scenes, especially with the whole Shaggy and Scooby trapped in the silo and being drowned in Scooby Snack batter. That one was alright, but that's it. So there's nothing much else to say about this one. Moving on. 9th place we have a Scooby-Doo Halloween. And I think there's only one sentence I can use to summarise this episode, and that is, it's all one big cliche. It's a Halloween special, and everything that's remotely related to Halloween is there. There's crop circles, which aren't crop circles, but still crops. It's set in a farm, has creepy old ladies, spooky black cats, a ghost, scarecrows coming to life, and a bunch of other stuff which just isn't interesting. I, quite frankly, find this special of What's New Scooby-Doo to be the most boring and the least enjoyable to watch. 8th place we have High Tech House of Horrors. This one was going to be very low on my list, but I decided to move it towards the middle when I realised actually it's an alright episode. I like the creativity put into this House of the Future, and the whole thing as a whole was actually really nice and really well put together. I like the multiple contraptions there. The mystery was interesting, and the side characters, they were all good in my opinion. The only reason why I didn't have it higher is because I've been rewatching this episode multiple times and times again when I was a kid. I just got bored of it. But now, as I got access to all the episodes, I don't need to watch this one over and over again. Moving on to 7th place, we got New Mexico Old Monster. This one, I'm sure most people will be expecting to be at the bottom of the list, or near the bottom. For me, it's halfway, because I honestly adore this episode. The mystery is quite interesting, and it gives a new backdrop, being like, instead of it being a whole horizontal mystery going from point A to point B, it's vertical mystery going from point A to point B. I have no idea which way horizontal and vertical is. I believe this is vertical and this is horizontal, but I'm not sure. But yeah, it goes point A to point B, but this time literally going up. I actually kind of like that. Plus the side character of Scooby and I don't know that guy's name, but Shaggy's friend is actually, I like them. They're kind of interesting, and it seems like a more native, I guess that's the right word, version of Shaggy, which is actually quite cool. I like that. Sixth place, we got Mummy Scares Best. Now, as a prediction, I would not be surprised that Lucas has this episode in the top 5, because this is easily one of the best episodes in this series. Excluding the shots we have of the mummy on top of the pyramid and a few other stuff, it's a very interesting mystery, a very complex one, and the only one in this entire series, I believe, that Shaggy and Scooby need to figure out without the help of Velma and Fred and Daphne. That is a unique twist to the regular formula, and is probably the first hint we get to Shaggy and Scooby-Doo get a clue, which in my opinion may have been a bit of a disappointment, but it was okay. It was okay. There were some good episodes in there, but Mummy Scares Best, very great episode. I love the scenery there, and plus it brings back Melbourne O'Reilly. Who doesn't like him? Fifth place, we got Large Dragon at Large. Now, like with New Mexico Old Monster, lots of people will probably be expecting this near the bottom. But like with Lucas probably, we adore this episode. We love this episode a lot. If there was a negative to say about this episode, it'd probably be not enough scenes with the actual monster in it. But I can't talk about it in this episode, in this video. The mystery as a whole is quite interesting, and actually may seem obvious, but wasn't that obvious to me, because I'm an idiot, apparently. There was something else. I like the whole Renaissance fair background kind of thing, which leads to a rather interesting segments there. And I know what you're going to say, why do you not like The Vampire Strikes Back, but you like this one, even though they both have a castle in it? Yeah, Large Dragon at Large didn't take place entirely in the castle, which is why I like it more than The Vampire Strikes Back, as that one was pretty much entirely in the castle. Okay, moving on. Fourth place, we have Uncle Scooby and Antarctica. Now, this one's high for the simple reason, I love this episode. I have absolutely no idea why Lucas kind of has a problem with this episode. I like the one-off characters there, and even Little Peak. I absolutely love that little penguin. I find him absolutely adorable, and his chemistry with Scooby is probably one of the best parts about this episode that has nothing to do with the monster or the chase scene. It's just very well put together, and I honestly love it for that. The mystery is rather interesting, and that the scientist, Dr. Zola, I think his name is. He's really interesting as a character. I love him. Third place, we have Homeward Hounds. Now, this one is just a mediocre episode to most people, but to me, I love it. It introduces... No. Is it? Oh, yeah. It introduces the Secret Six puppies, which are probably one of my favourite recurring characters in the entire series. And that's something I appreciate about it, because I absolutely adore these puppies. They are cute, they are adorable, and they are a bit mischievous, especially in this episode. The mystery is very intriguing and very fun, actually. And even though it was a bit of a shot in the dark for me to guess who the culprit was, I was right. The first time I watched it, I had a shot in the dark to guess who the culprit was, and I was right, and I'm glad I was, because she was the only obvious culprit. Second place is the San Fran Psycho. Now, this one is up this high for the simple reason it is probably the most enjoyable of these episodes, and the mystery is probably the hardest one to guess, as there's no key element to where it actually points to who the culprit actually is. And the whole side plot of the grind games too kind of thing, I adore it. I actually kind of like it. It's really nice, and it's great to see a sport which isn't really considered a sport to be featured as his own episode in Scooby-Doo. I like the one-off characters being Ryan and what's his name, Julian. But on the other hand, there is a one-off character which I'm not a big fan of, which is the red-faced guy. I can't remember his name. If I don't remember his name, it's not important. But yeah, with that, it's just a very interesting mystery, and the culprit was not obvious. But number one, and probably going to be Luke's number one as well, is Simple Plan and the Invisible Madman. I think it is no surprise that this one is this high, because it is a wonderfully put together episode. It introduces the key band to the whole of the series of Scooby-Doo, being the people who performed the actual introduction to it, as well as the I'd Do Anything chase scene from the It's Me and It's Green is the Mystery Machine episode, and even the chase scene for this one. They had such a key role to play throughout the entirety of the series, and to have an episode dedicated to Simple Plan is brilliant. I like all of the one-off characters. They all had their own role to play with what they do, and honestly, I liked the band as a whole. Even though one of them disappeared literally 5 minutes after we see them, he's the one that I remember most in the band because, well, he's bald, and the others kind of look the same. So, but that's probably just the animation. But other than that, it's a brilliant episode and one of my favourites of the entire series. But with that being said, that's all for this time. If you like what you saw, leave a like, leave a comment, don't forget to subscribe, press the notification bell down in the corner below, and I'll see you next time.